I never imagined I'd have to make a video like this, but becoming a mother and having a daughter completely changed what I'm willing to stay silent about. Before I talk about my time working at MrBeast at a C-suite level, I would just like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Lorraine Mavromatis. I was born and raised in Brazil. For the last 10 years of my life, I dedicated it to studying and analyzing the social media space from the inside out. And I just completely fell in love with the content creation process. And that passion eventually led me to wanting to work with brands and work on their social media strategies. And that's what eventually led me to MrBeast. I was interviewed by the CEO and Jimmy Donaldson, MrBeast himself. I was hired on the spot. I led teams. I oversaw creative and operations across multiple platforms, but most importantly, I saw how things worked from the inside. Unfortunately, it didn't really take me too long to realize that things were not how they looked like on the outside. From the very beginning, I was yelled at, cursed at. I was even called dumb in front of my entire team after giving a business idea, only to have a man give the exact same idea a minute later and get praised. I was obligated to attend one-on-one meetings at the CEO's house by myself in an upstairs room only lit by a side lamp and have him hear how attractive and beautiful I was. The CEO also told me that Jimmy, MrBeast, gets really awkward around attractive women, and I quote, "Lorraine, let's say that when you're around and he needs to go to the restroom, he's not really using the restroom." I started changing completely how I dressed to go to work. I started only wearing baseball caps, extremely baggy clothes. I basically just tried to do everything to disappear. So I just kept my head down. I just continued to give everything that I had and tried to convince myself that that would be enough. But the thing is that when you're working in a male-dominated field, especially one that's being run by boys, where they preach that if talent wants to draw a dick on the wall, let them. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how hard you work. Giving your best will never be enough. Things got worse when I became pregnant. I had approved maternity leave signed off by HR, and I had agreed that I would work up until my last day of pregnancy. I said, while I'm in labor on my way to the hospital, I will call you, and that's when I want my maternity leave to start. On paper, it sounded beautiful, but in reality, it meant nothing. I was at the hospital in labor in a team meeting. 1 week postpartum, still healing, sleep deprived, emotionally and physically exhausted. I was already back to work. Less than a month postpartum, going through postpartum depression, and I had to hop on a plane, fly out of the country to work on a main channel shoot and leave my newborn baby behind. When I think about those first 2 months and all the time that was taken away from me from bonding with my baby, a time that was supposed to be protected, those moments were all taken away from me. And after everything that I went through, 2 weeks after coming back from what was supposed to be a maternity leave, my maternity leave, I was let go. And the reason was, and I quote, "You are too high of a caliber for this position. We need someone of a lower caliber." Now have that make sense and let that sink in a little bit. So today I'm taking legal action, not just for what happened at the end, but for everything that happened along the way and for the toxic culture that made it all possible. They tried to silence me enough, but enough is